On a quiet night in Bethlehem, the sky sparkled with countless stars. The small town slept peacefully, unaware that something extraordinary was about to happen. Inside a humble stable, Mary gently held a newborn baby wrapped in simple cloth. Joseph stood beside her, watching over them with quiet wonder. Not far away, shepherds were watching their sheep when suddenly the night sky filled with brilliant light, and angels appeared. The shepherds hurried to the stable and knelt beside the manger, amazed that the promised Savior had come as a tiny child. Far across the desert, wise men followed a bright star, traveling many miles to honor the newborn king. Years passed, and the child Jesus grew up in the small town of Nazareth. He worked with Joseph in a carpenter's workshop, learning how to shape wood and build with careful hands. When Jesus was 12 years old, he visited the great temple in Jerusalem. There, he sat among teachers and scholars, asking questions and sharing wisdom that surprised everyone. Many years later, a prophet named John was baptizing people in the Jordan River. One day, Jesus stepped into the water, and John baptized him before a watching crowd. As Jesus came out of the water, the heavens seemed to open and a dove descended, showing God's blessing. After this, Jesus went into the wilderness where he spent many days in prayer and quiet reflection. When he returned, Jesus began walking along the shores of the Sea of Galilee. There, he saw fishermen casting their nets and invited them to follow him. James and John also left their boats behind, choosing to walk with Jesus. Soon a small group of disciples began traveling with him everywhere he went. One day Jesus stood on a hillside and spoke to a large crowd about love, kindness, and faith. People listened carefully as his words brought hope to their hearts. Man suffering from a terrible disease came to Jesus, and with a gentle touch, Jesus healed him. Another day, friends carried a paralyzed man and lowered him through a roof to reach Jesus. When Jesus told the man to stand, the man rose to his feet, completely healed. While crossing the sea with his disciples, a violent storm suddenly appeared, but Jesus spoke calmly, and the wind and waves became still. Large crowds continued following Jesus wherever he went. One day thousands of people gathered to hear him speak, and he fed them all with just a few loaves of bread and fish. Another night, the disciples saw Jesus walking toward them across the water. Peter stepped out of the boat, trying to walk on the waves toward him. Jesus also raised a young girl back to life, bringing joy to her grieving family. Children loved being near Jesus, and he welcomed them with kindness and warm smiles. But not everyone was happy with Jesus' growing influence. Some religious leaders watched him closely and questioned his authority. Eventually, Jesus traveled to Jerusalem during a great celebration. As he rode into the city on a donkey, crowds waved palm branches and cheered with excitement. When Jesus entered the temple, he saw people turning it into a marketplace, and he drove them out. Soon the time came for Jesus to share a final meal with his disciples. He broke bread and shared it with them. He also passed a cup among them, speaking words they would remember forever. Then, in an act of humility, Jesus washed the feet of his friends. Later that night, Jesus went to pray in a quiet garden beneath olive trees. While he prayed, soldiers approached carrying torches. One of his own followers, Judas, betrayed him with a kiss. Jesus was arrested, and his disciples scattered into the darkness. He was brought before the Roman governor Pilate. Soldiers mocked him and placed a painful crown of thorns on his head. Jesus was forced to carry a heavy cross through the streets. On a hill outside the city, he was crucified as dark clouds filled the sky. After his death, Jesus was placed in a stone tomb sealed with a large rock. But early on the third day, the stone was rolled away and the tomb was empty. Jesus appeared alive to his followers, bringing hope, joy, and the promise that his story would change the world forever.
So remember, even after the hardest times, life can bring hope, joy, and quiet humor. Pay attention to the small wonders around you. Notice the gentle blessings and carry a cheerful heart. Miracles may come quietly, and even ordinary moments can hold extraordinary meaning.